Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the AM Report for HAPS News, the network of now. I'm Alex Mahajer. It's Tuesday, March 30th, and today we're going to be talking about federal officials and their warning of a fourth COVID-19 surge amidst a rising spike in cases across the United States. We're going to talk about Joe Biden's appointments to the judiciary, Derek Chauvin's murder trial going into day 2 of those hearings, and Dominion voting systems and their billions of dollars in defamation lawsuits against Trump land. All of this and more this morning on the AM Report. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the show. I'm Alex Mahajer. If you're watching on the HAPS app or website, click the award button. Let me know you're enjoying it. Or just click the hello button. Let me know what part of the country you're watching from around the world. I love seeing you guys chime in from around the country, around the world. Good morning, Yassine. Good to see you. Good morning, Renee Barone. Good to see you. Betty. Good to see you. Betty. Very happy to see you this morning. Good morning to Pablo de la Hoya from Los Angeles. Hello, Cullen from San Francisco. It's good to see your faces, your lovely faces this morning as we jump into some of today's top headlines. If you're watching on Facebook, Reddit, YouTube, Periscope, I think Periscope's dead today or tomorrow, or Periscope's dying at some point. And if you're watching on Periscope, come on over to HAPS. It's the new HAPS, and join this amazing community of people. HAPS.tv. Or download the app to your app store or Google Play Store. There you go, Pablo. That's myself for the day. Let's jump into some of today's top headlines. First, federal officials are warning about a fourth COVID-19 surge amidst a growing number of cases across the United States. The CDC director Rochelle Walensky is saying that she's scared in a kind of a candid moment yesterday. Average daily reported cases are up 10% compared to a week earlier, according to the CDC director. And U.S. reports more than 30 million COVID-19 cases reported since early last year. Hospitalizations and deaths, which usually lag by a couple of weeks, have inched upward as well after a decline in a plateau that began in early January. So we're actually running a risk of erasing the progress we made from January on through now. Coming up on 16% of American adults have been vaccinated. We need that number to hover around 70-75 in order to achieve herd immunity. And I'll note that this spike in increases, federal officials are saying it may be because of the increased variants that are circulating through the United States, as well as spring break revelers and young people sort of, taking it easy, and states and their loosening of COVID-19 restrictions. And we don't want another surge in the United States. So everyone stay mindful of that. President Joe Biden has made his first judicial appointments to the federal judiciary. Judicial appointments are, of course, one of the crucial presidential powers. Trump really took advantage of that, and really, I think Trump's legacy is establishing a federal judiciary of young conservative judges who get lifetime appointments to these spots. So the White House announced today that President Biden would nominate 10 individuals to serve as federal circuit and district court judges, and 1 individual to serve as a superior court judge for the District of Columbia. The nominations include Ketanji Brown Jackson for the U.S. Court of Appeals, the seat which was vacated by now Attorney General Merrick Garland. Jackson is considered a potential SCOTUS justice. It's a very diverse selection of judges. It includes 3 African-American women tapped for the circuit court vacancies, and candidates who would be the first Muslim American federal judges in U.S. history, the first Asian American Pacific Islander woman to ever serve on the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia, and the first woman of color to ever serve as a federal judge for the District of Maryland. So keeping true to his promise to have his cabinet and his judicial appointments reflect America and be a diverse crop of selections, sticking true to that promise and having a field of judges that are coming into the federal judiciary that reflects what America looks like. And I'm grateful for that. We're going into day 2 of the Derek Chauvin murder trial of George Floyd. You'll recall the murder of George Floyd last May sparked an international movement for racial justice and policing reforms. So prosecutors from the Minnesota Attorney General's office have begun their case by calling several people who witnessed the arrest on May 25th, 2020. A Minneapolis 911 dispatcher who became alarmed by live police surveillance video of the arrest, and a young woman who worked at the gas station across the street who recorded the scene on her cell phone. I want to play for you a couple clips about this. First is one of the prosecutors in this case, Justin Miller, talking about the way that the media and even we refer to this case. And I think this is really important, and I want to play that for you guys now.
This today is not the trial of George Floyd. And I've heard people say that. This is the George Floyd trial. This is the George Floyd trial. George Floyd is not on trial. This is the trial of Derek Chauvin, and it should be printed and spoken about that way every single time we talk about it. This trial is about America being America for all Americans. Not just some of us, all Americans. And it can be that way, and it should be that way. We have to take time now to think about what we want for our children and for our families. This family behind me is suffering, and they've been suffering since the beginning of this thing, and they're gonna suffer long after all of you have gone and all of us are gone.
That's Justin Miller calling on the media and all of us really to refer to this as the Derek Chauvin trial, not the George Floyd trial. George Floyd is not on trial. This is also really important because the defense is going to run with a theory of a case, and is running with a theory of the case, that George Floyd is responsible for his own death, that he overdosed on drugs, casting this as sort of it's an insidious defense, really. It's blaming him for being on drugs at the time of his death, despite the fact that one of the independent medical examiners that was commissioned by the Floyd family found that it was due to the compression to his neck that he died. And really sort of casting aspersions and doubt over the man's character by casting this broad sort of suspicion about drug addiction and drug addiction generally is, to me, really insidious. It treats something like drug addiction as a crime, and as a crime of moral turpitude as well, which I think is just really backwards. And so this is the Derek Chauvin trial, not the George Floyd trial. George Floyd is not on trial, very important to note. And during the witness testimony yesterday, we heard from Derek Williams. He was one of the witnesses, and prosecutors have played videos of the rest to the jury, taken from multiple angles, including the bystander video that shows Derek Chauvin, who is a white man, pressing his knee into the neck of a dying George Floyd, 46 years old at the time, 46-year-old black man, for about 9 minutes, 29 seconds. And Derek Williams gave some compelling testimony today. That testimony is continuing on today, and I want you to hear a little bit of that testimony right now. Let's pull that up. We're going to pull that up for you in a second, but Derek Williams was a witness. He said he called 911 because he believed that he was witnessing a murder, and here is that testimony.
When I say yes or no, I cannot remember at this moment.
Okay. If you heard that today, would you be able to recognize it as the 911 call that you made?
That is correct.
All right. We have now marked that as Exhibit 20, and Your Honor, we would ask that it be, well, we are offering it now as Exhibit 20.
And 20 is received.
All right, so if we can at this point then play Exhibit 20.
May 25, 2020.
911, what's the address of the emergency?
Officer 987 killed a citizen in front of a Chicago store. He just pretty much just killed this guy that wasn't resisting arrest, he had his knee on the dude's neck the whole time, Officer 987. The man went, stopped breathing. He wasn't resisting arrest or nothing. He was already in handcuffs. They pretty much just killed the dude. I don't even know if he's dead for sure, but he was not responsible when the ambulance just came and got him. And the officer that was just out here left, the one that actually just murdered the kid in front of everybody on 38th in Chicago.
Okay. Would you like to speak with the sergeant?
Yeah, like that was bogus what they just did to this man. He was unresponsive. He wasn't resisting arrest or any of it.
Okay, let me get you over to the desk. You can request to speak with the sergeant, okay? Stay on the
Yeah, and I'm sitting here talking with another off-duty firefighter that just sat here and watched it in front of us as well.
Okay.
And she told him to check the man's pulse, but they wouldn't even check the pulse.
Okay, 1 second.
I have reached the city of Minneapolis to reach someone in our property crimes division.
Y'all murderers, bro. Y'all murderers, Kyle. You gonna kill yourself. I already know it. 2 more years. You gonna shoot yourself. Murderers, bro. Y'all niggas is murderers, bro. Minneapolis Third Precinct.
Hey, it's dispatch.
Yeah, man. So I want to speak to a supervisor.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, he wants to speak with a supervisor relating to 320's called cut food.
So they just killed that man in front of the store. The police.
2833, 46.
That was witness Derek Williams and his 911 call during the murder of George Floyd last May and played for the jury, which is comprised of 9 white jurors, 4 people that identify as black, and 2 that identify as mixed race. And race is going to be an issue in this, is going to be an issue in the way that this is viewed. It's inescapable. It's inextricably tied to the calls for racial justice and policing reform. And we'll keep our eyes on this trial. Renee Barone saying, "I'm scared for these witnesses." It's certainly harrowing and certainly, you know, a tearful testimony from this witness, and we will continue to keep our eyes on that. Finally, this morning, Dominion Voting Systems. As you'll recall, Dominion Voting Systems is the voting system company that was responsible for, that was used as the basis for a lot of the big lie, the election lies that were propagated by Trumpland. They're planning their massive legal operation to sue Trumpland for billions of dollars. The defamation lawsuits for those who propagated the big lie are rolling in. And they've added a new team of lawyers, quietly added a new barrage of lawyers to their roster as they pursue lawsuits against Rudy Giuliani, Sidney Powell, Pillow, the My Pillow CEO, Mike Lindell. Fox News last Friday got served with their lawsuit for propagating the lie that the 2020 election was stolen. A new round of lawsuits are potentially being planned for Newsmax and One America News Network. Those may be next. And potentially Donald Trump himself, who, by the way, since he left office, no longer enjoys the protections from criminal prosecution that the president enjoys, and is facing a lot of legal trouble for a lot of different things, including his interferences with the 2020 election in multiple different jurisdictions. So we'll keep our eyes on that. Thank you guys so much for joining the AM Report this morning. We are live every weekday morning with all of your quick political news and headlines to get your day started right. If you like this journalism, if you like this content, please consider sponsoring it. You can do that at haps.tv/@Alex, where you can give me an award like Renee Barone or Cullen. Thank you so much for those Appreciate You and Stay Safe awards. And yeah, thank you guys so much for joining. Thank you, Pablo, for the Appreciate You award. It's so lovely to see you guys doing that. Thank you. Or you can just become a recurring monthly sponsor, buy me a cup of coffee if you like, or click subscribe to get notifications when we go live every morning. We'll be back tomorrow. Thank you guys for joining. Have a fabulous Tuesday, and we'll see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.